Sea drones that can spot Russian military targets from kilometers away and destroy them before the enemy even realizes where the strike came from. The Security Service of Ukraine has unveiled a new generation of surface drones, Sea Baby. They are equipped with additional protective gear and can also carry various types of weaponry. In particular, they can operate against enemy helicopters and patrol boats. Our correspondent Karina Podlinko has seen them with her own eyes and is ready to tell you more about a new modification of the drones.
Drones that have changed the course of events and ended Russia's dominance in the Black Sea. It is these drones that terrify the occupiers and force them to hide their boats. In the most remote ports, the Security Service of Ukraine continues to improve its unique development, Sea Baby. And right now, exclusive details of the modernization of surface drones.
It all starts here. At first glance, it's just an ordinary cargo van. But the most interesting part is inside.
Here we have one of the options for a mobile control station. In other words, this is a mobile ground station that can operate from any location.
One platform, several hands and eyes. One operator controls the boat, another controls its weapon system. And it's precisely this interaction that makes the system effective.
To build missions, for example, to move automatically along a mission and to plan missions for other teams in order to achieve your objectives.
The control center is designed for long-term operations. In particular, the operators can work while on the move, which gives them additional safety, camouflage, and the ability to carry out missions covertly.
Movement can be at a sufficient speed, which is extremely safe for the crew. We don't have to stop 5 or 6 hours just to stop for coffee, then continue moving and continue the mission.
So, basically, if there's a traffic jam somewhere, you could even operate from there?
If there's a traffic jam, you could even get some sleep there.
Introducing the new Security Service of Ukraine drones, the maritime drones. Multi-purpose platforms designed and engineered to be capable of carrying weapons that, in the first stage of the maritime drone war, will destroy the large and powerful surface fleet of Russia.
The multi-purpose Sea Baby platforms have repeatedly attacked Russian ships and have also struck the Crimean Bridge. Specifically, these ones. Already modernized but previously kept hidden from the public, they took part in special military operations of the Security Service in the Black Sea.
And the most recent strike on the Crimean Bridge happened in a completely unusual way. We hit it from below, from the water. And it was precisely the transfer of special forces and equipment for the latest underwater warfare that was carried out by the maritime drones and cyclotrones you see here. These platforms have already traveled several thousand kilometers by sea. They are only now in front of you. Our team has refreshed them a bit, repainted them, maybe added something. But if you look closely, you'll see they're patched and repatched from shrapnel and enemy bullets.
The fighters call this little one the machine gun drone among themselves.
In fact, this platform is equipped with a gyro-stabilized 14.5mm machine gun mount. It demonstrates very good effectiveness at sea. It confidently hits targets of its size, at a distance of over 1 kilometer. This is more than enough to detect and destroy it.
And the second is the adaptation of missile weaponry. It allows you to target from long, safe distances and avoid danger zones.
We see one of these platforms, specifically one that carries heavy weaponry. A 10-round Grad rocket launcher. This missile drone was built. The main purpose was to carefully test and evaluate the possibility of carrying heavy missile weaponry on the basis of the Sea Baby unmanned maritime platforms. This drone is capable of firing salvos of either 5 or 10 Grad rockets, such as at the same time.
Long-range drones are equipped with more powerful engines, modern navigation systems, and an upgraded communication system. And one more important detail: protection. Each drone...
Sea Baby maritime drones always return to their home shores. The team of engineers and IT specialists. Specialists from the Security Service of Ukraine have created a system that makes it impossible for the latest advanced Ukrainian developments, SBU maritime drones, to fall into anyone else's hands. This has never happened, and the security service of Ukraine is working to ensure that we do not alert the Russians about the capabilities and technical features of our new drones.
If a drone is unable to return due to significant damage, it can be destroyed. And such a case has already occurred.
There was a battle near the fully occupied Crimea when we used the Pukach drones. And one of these machine gun drones, just so you understand, drew out 4 Russian helicopters. This battle took place over a year ago. And in order for the other drones to be able to leave the battle and return home after the mission was completed, it drew the Russian forces and equipment toward itself. Moreover, it was already damaged and had partially lost mobility. And this is probably the only drone that we destroyed ourselves.
The security service says that they haven't even finished upgrading these drones yet, but specialists are already working on new ones.
Ukraine attacked Russian oil refineries and energy facilities. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine confirmed a strike on a chemical plant. At the same time, Ukrainian analysts note that enemy air defense covers only about 40% of Russian territory. In unprotected areas, they resort to methods that Ukraine previously used. What air defense systems does Russia use, and how do Ukrainian drones bypass them? In the report by Dmytro Shulha.
This is the Bryansk chemical plant on fire. Local residents posted the footage online. Ukraine's defense forces struck the facility the day before. They hit it with a Storm Shadow missile, which overcame the Russian air defense system, according to the General Staff.
The Bryansk chemical plant is an important component of the aggressor country's military-industrial complex. This facility produces gunpowder, explosives, and components for rocket fuel, including for munitions and missiles that the enemy uses to shell Ukrainian territory.
Drones also attacked Dagestan, Mordovia, and the Ural Federal District during the night. Russian social media channels report strikes on an oil refinery and a mechanical plant. This was also confirmed by the Ukrainian General Staff. However, Governor Melikov stated that there was a strike on one of the enterprises in Makhachkala.
Today, enemy drones carried out an attack on the territory of Dagestan. Their target was one of the Republic's enterprises. At present, there is no information about any dead or injured. Details about the destruction are being clarified.
The air raid siren sounded both in Moscow and the Moscow region. Russian sources warned of a massive attack. However, aviation expert Valery Romanenko emphasizes that the capital, Zoish, the Russians are trying to protect it from air attacks. They have established several air defense lines,
which consist of low-altitude systems like Tor and Pantsir-M. They are specifically designed to destroy drones and small, slow-moving targets. For example, the Pantsir system. It operates at a range of about 25 kilometers and does so effectively. If it is elevated, it can achieve this range even against low-altitude targets.
The backbone of Russian air defense consists of Soviet-made systems, and the new Yakut Pantsir systems are modernized versions of old models.
Soviet-made models, yes, and modern systems as well. The enemy is trying to combine all of this into a single system. Soviet systems like the S-300, more modern S-400s, and the new S-350 Svitia systems.
In other words, essentially, the same systems, whether it's the S-400 or the S-500 they're currently developing, are fundamentally based on capabilities that were developed during Soviet times. So there is nothing truly new or modern.
For the Russian authorities, the main priority is to protect military-industrial facilities, says Andriy Yusov.
All major sites have air defense systems. The cities of the aggressor state, the Russian Federation, as well as, of course, certain specific sites are protected, especially major industrial facilities that are significant, military-industrial complex sites or facilities that hold particular political importance.
And to strengthen the defense of the European part of the Russian Federation, according to Valery Romanenko, they are creating the Leningrad Military District. However, this does not prevent targets from being hit.
The routes of our strike assets are planned so that they are not straight lines from point A to point B. From the launch point to the target, our drones fly along complex routes with many turns.
Experts note that indirect routes and terrain avoidance become possible thanks to partner intelligence. Ukraine monitors whether there is air defense near the target, for example, at an oil refinery.
In fact, there is a group of satellites, commercial satellites, to which we have access and so on. If we're not talking about the United States, we're talking about several European countries that are actively helping us with this issue.
In addition, Ukraine is improving its drones to bypass Russian air defenses. That's why some of the drones do hit their targets.
We consider it a good result if a third of our drones make it to their destination. Well, they also rely on similar approaches, so they will reach their targets as well. On our side, it's also about a third. That's not a bad result.
The key indicator is how many Ukrainian drones reach their targets and inflict damage and losses on the aggressor state, according to various estimates. In recent months, oil product processing has decreased by 18 to 20%. These are extremely large numbers.
Yes, according to drone manufacturers, achieving results requires massive waves of drones targeting Russian facilities.
For example, anti-aircraft drones, which even without artificial intelligence don't always hit a moving target. You need 3, 5, maybe even 10 of them. It all depends on the pilot's skill.
The Russians are copying our approach to air defense, says Anatoly Krapshinsky, especially in remote regions.
They use mobile fire groups on Gazelle vehicles, equipped with cannons, Kalashnikovs, or other types of weapons. In other words, they mostly use the same tools that we use.
Russia is also involving civilian aviation. According to Russian media reports, light Cessna aircraft are being modified by installing machine guns. Other types of aircraft are also used for such tasks, including the Yak-52.
In the second cockpit, like in the Yak-52 or the Cessna, they either put someone in the second seat or they remove the passenger cabin door and place a machine gunner there. Well, sometimes this helps, sometimes not so much.
Recently, the first Barsamat flight squadron was formed in Russia to intercept Ukrainian long-range drones deep behind the lines. Targets are detected mainly visually, without the use of additional surveillance systems.
Visually, so to speak, understanding in which sector the threat is located, the crew uses the available tools to intercept this aerial target.
And the SPU Special Forces recently destroyed 2 Russian light aircraft in the temporarily occupied territories, which the Russian army used to intercept Ukrainian long-range drones.